this is our concrete mix for concrete countertops. It's got pigment in it that I got from Colors Direct or directcolors.com. It's got a 3/8 inch aggregate, sharp aggregate, and concrete sand. The mix is 1.5 buckets of concrete sand, 1.5 buckets of the 3/8 inch sharp aggregate. And I'll put it on the video, but for my pigment, I did, to get the color I wanted, I did 1/2 pound of pigment to 47 pounds of cement, which is 1/2 bag of cement. That's what this mix is, and I am just getting ready here to put it into one of my forms. I'm putting an inch of the concrete into my form. I'm going to spread that out by hand first. This guy is a vibrator to evenly distribute the concrete throughout the form. So, getting ready to pour the concrete form for one of the countertops here. So I got my plexi all secured down to the wood form. Put masking tape here because that area, that little void where the plexi meets the form, want to protect that from any concrete getting in between there and pushing the plexi out. That happened already today, so we've learned from our mistakes. So now I just clean the plexi, and I'm just going to blow out all any dust or particles that are in it. Okay, now that it's clean, we're ready to start pouring. I've already done my concrete mix here. This mix is a 3/8 inch aggregate and a concrete sand mix. And I have 1.5 buckets of the 3/8 inch aggregate, 1.5 buckets of the concrete sand, and 1/2 bag of cement, which is 47 pounds of cement, because the bags are 94 pounds. I have put in special fibers for countertops, and I've also added in half a gallon of acrylic. What is that called? Adacrylic? Adacryl like admix, which is an acrylic bonder mix that just helps. Actually, I don't even know the details on that. I was just told to do it. And then the other thing is how much was it? 8 ounces. It's 1/2 pound of this pigment right here. That's the color. That is the color that the countertops are going to be. It's like a brown color, and depending on how much, I don't know where the label is, depending on how much of this you add, the color becomes darker or lighter. I'm doing a pretty light mix. This is directcolors.com. I got a 10-pound bag of the DCI concrete pigment, number 649. They're all numbered on the website, and there's a few different shades for number 649. I am doing the 1 pound ratio on there, which equates to, for 47 pounds of, it's for a 94 pound bag of cement, equals 1 pound of this to get the color I'm looking for. So I'm doing a 1/2 bag of cement in every batch. So 47 pounds, this is going to be 8 ounces, 1/2 pound. So I have a little scale right here, and I'm just using a little cup. I know this weighs 1.16 ounces, so I'm trying to get to 3.16 to get 2 ounces in every scoop here. So I just have a little bag, little Ziploc bag I'm using to put it in. Let's see here, I got 3.9 ounces. Looking for 3.16. 3.14, close enough. So remember, this thing weighs 1.16 ounces, so I just put in 2 ounces of the pigment. Do this 4 times to get 8 ounces. Okay, there we go. That is our 8 ounces Oh, the reason I did it in 2 ounce increments is because this is this only goes up to 4 ounces, this scale, so I couldn't really do more than that. If you have a scale like a food scale, it'd be easier. You could just get your exact amount in one measuring. Okay, so I'm going to take this outside, and we're going to use this in our mix. So the way we do it is we put in some water, put in our fibers, put in our add mix, put this in. Let it get all nice and mixed up. The directions say to mix all the ingredients dry first, but I found that if you just mix it all wet before you put in aggregate and the sand and the cement, it mixes just fine and the colors are really consistent. So you do those guys first, and then you start with your cement and your aggregate and your sand all staggered like we've mixed in the past. Okay, so I'm spreading out the concrete, and there was some like dry chips of things that got on the plexiglass while I was like pouring it in there, like from the bucket. So being careful not to scratch the plexiglass, just kind of gently moving the concrete around on the plexiglass so that anything that was dry is going to mix into the concrete. Because remember, that plexiglass is our top surface of the countertop. Okay, so looks like I have about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches actually now. Okay. Just going to kind of poke in the corners. Try to consolidate the concrete a little bit by hand first. Poke on the rest of it. Okay, next step is the remesh. And this is what's going to give the concrete its structural integrity. It's going to make it strong. And got to make sure this thing is really straight when we put it in here. It's not, we only have 2.5 inches of thickness. And we don't want this remesh to be poking out the top of our pour here. It's worth the time to get this remesh straight. We already had a situation on one of our earlier pours, where the remesh just kept popping out the top, and there was really not a whole lot we could do about it. We're going to set this remesh down into the concrete, keeping about 1.5 inches away from all the sides. If the remesh is too close, if any rebar remesh is too close to the edges of concrete, water could get in and eventually rust out the remesh. So you want to make sure you're not 1.5 inches from all the edges. I'm going to work this guy down a little bit. Now remember, I'm putting this remesh in. See, this is what happens. You can see right here, I didn't get it quite good enough, and now it's popping out. Now I'm being careful to make sure this remesh is not too low. If the remesh is too low when we're tapping the form later, it could possibly settle down to the plexiglass and then show through on our finished countertop. Okay, so now we're going to consolidate this concrete by tapping the agitate form like this, and underneath like this. When you consolidate the concrete, the aggregate is getting pushed in and the water is getting pulled out, and that's how we're not going to see any aggregate or have any air pockets on the outside of our pour. We can't have pockets because we need that nice the top surface here. By doing this, not only are we consolidating the concrete, but we're also removing air pockets, and you'll start seeing bubbles rising to the surface. Those are pockets of air escaping, and then thus the concrete is filling in those voids. You have bubbles rising to the surface. Now we have to straight. Just take a straight edge, and you're basically just getting, going back and forth, as you can see, against the sides of the form, leveling off the concrete to the height of the form, and smoothing it out. It's good to have someone with a sponge cleaning up after you, because you're going to be secreting excess off the sides. Right here. That. I see I have a little bit too much, so I'm just going to keep pushing it forward a little bit. If I didn't have enough, I would pull some in.
Yeah. Better than nothing.
Now we're getting close. Now we're basically there.